Hey guys, welcome back to CRDMODS. This is Rahul for you. So this time we came up with a new video for the Superbike Essential General Service, especially for the Hayabusa Generation 2. So I do have a lineup of model products behind me. Have a glance over them. So let's jump on to the other part. Suzuki, it's a blue color one, which usually it's called as super lifelong coolant, which the term usually it's life for 4 years. Composition of the chemicals, call it a hybrid OAT. We're going to use here is that engine ice, which is OAT based. So one of the common question arises, can we use a car coolant in a bike? Because some people say that, guy, my Fortuner is around 2400 plus cc, get my car cool, so why can't that coolant can be used in a bike which is half of that cc? So in that scenario, no, it's a big no. Because why? The major part is that, like, the car coolants are built for a different purpose. To be precise, your car engine is made up of a cast iron and steel pipes and everywhere. But in case of bikes, we do have the aluminum engine blocks and everything. So most of the parts are like aluminum. What happens when you use this car coolants in the bikes, right? It has the silicates. Actually, the silicates are necessary for the cast iron engines because it adds a protective layer over the engine, but not especially for the aluminum, because these silicates pile up as a barrier to the aluminum casing, so heat transfer process is not optimal. So never use a car fluid, especially for the superbike. There's one of the important thing what I need to pull up here is that, like, how important is a coolant fluid. Cars usually doesn't rev at a high rpms at initial phase or in that normal flow, but superbikes rev at high rpms, the engine heats up much more. I know, like, then what is the purpose of the coolant system, radiator, everything fitted, and doesn't the company know that they need to cool up the engine? I do agree. The point here is that everything works fine even with a 50 ratio coolant also when you're running on a highway, or at least you're moving up. But what happens in a bumper to bumper car traffic case where you have to stop and go? So that's a where your engine doesn't get the enough air to support the cooling system. Even though, especially liquid cooled engine, still you are supposed to have some air. The aerodynamic design of the vehicle usually creates in a structure where the air throws into the engine and goes out. In a traffic condition, you are actually bypassing that phase. So due to that, the engine heats up more. At level of heating, you need to best of the best engine coolants. Let me show you this thing. It's around 1.8 liter and it costed me around 2160. This is from the original distributors from Hyderabad which I brought it. Get them in online also, you can reach out to their site. This is marketed by, distributed in India especially by Sniper Marketing Private Limited. So what is the specialty of this coolant? Why it's so costly? So it is in comparison with this, if you are comparing an car coolant, right, probably that would cost you around more, not more than 300 to 400 if you are using for the car coolant. But especially for these bikes, guy has a special market presence. My Busa actually requires 2.5 liters, so I brought two bottles of them just to have them in a reserve. If you let us assume that there are two Busas, one with the engine ice and other with the any other normal coolant, they claim that they have at least 5 to 6 degrees of temperature variance when you use the engine ice cool over the other vehicle. So let us assume that other vehicle is around 100 degrees centigrade. This guy will be 96 or 93 degrees centigrade. Even that's very important for it if you're going to drive your vehicle in a traffic conditions. Because I didn't compromise on this part, because even though it's very costly, the only reason is that most of my commute will be in the traffic. Out of 45 kilometers, it would be some around 5 to 6 kilometers on a stretch where you don't have the signals and everything. but the rest of the part is like the bumper to bumper traffic sometimes based on the timeline. So I didn't compromise on this thing, and this guy is much more important for my Busa because this is one of the best available thing in the market. Currently, my Busa is equipped with the green color coolant. Guys, please avoid this green color coolant. Okay, it's not good for your vehicle, especially for the Busas, because when you drive in the traffic conditions. I'll make a video because it's already equipped with the green color. I'll start the bike and make sure that how much time is taken for the radiator fan to on. So probably that would be the benchmark, assuming that if it takes some 2 or 3 minutes to start the fan. So probably after using the ice cool, it should take around at least 2 more minutes or 1 more minute at least for at a judgmental point of view for this thing. And it's a real claim that people even noticed for most of the things, and they had very good reviews in the Amazon too, say that they noticed the consistency of around 3 centigrade reduced in their from the prior coolants, and they noticed that the vehicle is less heated up. If this works, then this is one of the best investment which I have invested on the coolants. The engine ice compound is very different. Like the engine ice uses propylene glycol fluid as a base, whereas the other coolants in the market use ethylene glycol as a base. That's one of the difference in the composition. And if you're going to use this guy for the first time, there are instructions added over here what actually says that you're supposed to drain your entire coolant from your vehicle, drain it out completely, like flush at least to 3 to 4 times with the water, and run in idle for a minute and just flush it again, and then again flush it with the distilled water. And when you see there are no traces of your old coolant fluid, when you totally drain it up for leave it for 10 to 15 minutes, add this guy. And probably if you're draining it completely for a Busa, then you need to add around 2.5 liters as per the service manual suggested. But I brought them extra so that I would have a reserve, because this is 1.8, and there I need around 600 to 700 ml over from that bottle, so probably I'll have it for the reserve. Actually, this technology is very different. Like if I just show you a glimpse like what are these technologies. And OAT, we have HOAT, hybrid OAT, and other things. I'll just add it to on the screen so that you can just understand like what is the difference and between that centigrade. But one of the major thing which I insist you guys, if your vehicle runs on a green color fluid, please drain it out, because unknowingly, like we might add in an emergency case, or when you're traveling out of place, when you go for a basic service, that those guys don't have all these feasibilities. So you are supposed to go for that, especially the green fluid for the temporary purpose. Just but make sure you flush that out. So guys, it's very costly, I can understand, but still, hold on a the major part is that is actually a Canada based company which actually manufactures this and imports here. But what I got to know is that, like to avoid the import charges, what they are doing now is that they're bottling it in India itself. They're getting the liquid from formula from there, and they're bottling it in India and selling up here. I can understand it's very costly for 1.8 liter, but if is there any other thing, especially in the coolants for the super bikes, because you might be running a 600cc vehicle or less than that, 390 or anything. So do I need to use that? No, you can also use some alternates. You do have the Motul Autocool G12 Evo. You can just buy that on online. That is of same OET technology. It's not exactly the engine ice, because it's even though an OET coolant, but still it is not propylene glycol. That's about engine ice coolants. Stay tuned for CRD modes and much more videos coming up. So if you like the content, please give us a like and subscribe this channel if you're watching for the first time. Stay tuned guys, take care.